Good morning, good morning, good morning. Peace, peace be unto you guys all. Kensambi and Bungo blesses you guys always, and that your muertos and your ancestors always accompany you and help you. Early in the morning, you know how it is. Same thing, making the donuts. Friday, at least it's Friday, even though I gotta do some work tomorrow. Something for the family, but anyway. Excuse me. I wanted to speak about this morning about a misconception that I have heard, plenty people talk about, and like I always say, everybody has their way and they practice the way they want to practice, but there's a misconception in these days that people that are practicing the tradition, I don't know if they are young like I am or old in the tradition, I do not know, but it's this thing that for everything that they do, with the Nganga, with the Nkisi, they can't do it without it requiring a sacrifice. For some reason or another, either they do not know or do not understand, or the Nganga doesn't work without sacrificial animals in order for it to do whatever it's sent to be done. And I think about these things, and I try to make sense of it, but sometimes it doesn't ring a bell. Like, it doesn't really give me, I try to reason and make sense of it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you. But anyway, for me, for what I know, and for what I have practiced and done, when I received my Nganga, the second one, a lot of the work that I did on my Nganga, I did not sacrifice any animals. I didn't see the need to, and also the Nkisi didn't require of it. You'd be surprised what an Nkisi would do or could do just with the basics. A little coffee, a little rum, a little cigar, and having that communication with that Nkisi or with that Nganga. So I have done quite a few works with the second Nganga that I received before I got accepted into Ryuma Mulemba. I used to work my Nganga with, very rare I gave my Nganga Menga. And it is not because it's scarce here. No, it's not. There's plenty of poetry. There's poetry places all over here. Chinese and Arabic and Arabian. They got a whole bunch of all types. But I did a lot of work. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot. I did some work with it. That it didn't require nothing. It just required me to speaking the situation, talking to the Nkisi, to the Prenda, explaining what's going on, doing certain things, putting a patipemba, and Gisi agreeing upon doing what is agreed upon, and that's all that it needs, and that's it. And it performed its duty, and it went out. I'm of those that believe that not everything needs sacrificial, not everything needs Menga, because I've seen how my Nganga has worked without it. Now, is there occasions that you need that for my belief and my lineage? Yes. For others, they work their stuff the way they work it, and if it works for them, beautiful. But yeah, for some type of anniversaries or something of the prendas, yeah, we feed them. For certain jobs or certain medicine that has to be done, yeah, but not all of them. You need Menga for that spirit to perform a duty, to perform a job. You understand? And I see that every time, and it's not everyone, but I see that and hear from paleros here in Philly that this is how they work, this is how they do their things, and I wonder what type of pact that they do with it. If that was the requirement for everything that they needed, to do, like if that was the type of pact that they did with that Nkisi, that for every single thing they have to do, this is the type of thing that has to happen. There has to be some type of sacrificial animal, and depending of the job for the client, the sacrificial animal has to be of a certain scale of grandeur, or we would say, difference from a chicken to a goat to a cow to a bull to a deer, all this type of thing. I don't know why, but I could see if the only way I could reason and understanding is if this is the type of pack that they made with that Nkisi. It's the only way I could see it. Because a well-built Nkisi could do a lot without you having to give it sacrificial animals. Could do a lot. You understand? And this is where, my thought process comes in and tries to evaluate and see, that a lot of people here, for what I have seen and heard, and speak to, I have always heard, I'm doing this and this and that, and I require this type of animal. I'm doing this and this and that, and I require this type of animal. And I ask myself, when is the time that you don't require no animal to do a job? To perform something, to help someone? When do you not need one? Is it every time I hear you speak or you say something or I see, there's always an animal involved? And people have to understand that if you don't have that treaty that I'm trying to think and reason about and of, that's what you agreed upon every time you do something. And to me, that's kind of interesting, because it gets complicated, And I say it gets complicated because what about if you can't find an animal at a certain time of the year? Especially a certain particular animal for you to sacrifice. Then what are you going to do if that's the only way that Nkisi works? A person goes to get clean, and you divine for them, and all they need is for you to clean them. Do you always need an animal to clean a person? Is there not any other thing that you could use to clean that person with? Does it have to be an animal? And this is where I see where some people get that gore, that thing that, I'm sacrificing an animal, because they sacrificing this animal, it makes it look so, gore is so bloody and all this, I was thinking about this, and I wasn't actually gonna make no video upon it or nothing, because I like I said, to each his own. People might have a treaty that's how they work their things, and that's the agreement that they had. In order to perform anything, it had to have manga. It had to be some type of animal sacrifice, whatever it may be. But if you didn't make that type of pact with that, if you did not, then your Inkishi should be able to perform certain duties and certain tasks, as long as it both of you agree, it agrees. That's also a different thing too, because some people just send out because they don't have this type of communication. It's the other way around. But for me, if it agrees, and all I have to do is clean a person without an animal, use other sources and other natural elements to clean the person, then that's what I'm going to use. It doesn't have to be always animal sacrifice. It's like, everything that's considered negative doesn't need a sacrificial animal in order for you be able to do away with that negativity. Some people use different things to clean themselves with. Some people do certain work with other clients, and you don't see this animal sacrifice. When you sacrifice an animal, it's because the Inkishi needs that. It needs that. You understand? It needs that. And that's the only reason why. And there's other reasons why there's some animal sacrificial being done for other reasons also. But we gotta remember that when we try to work the Nganga, right? Those who sacrifice animals, because like I said, there's some people that don't sacrifice animals. Those who do sacrificial things with animals and stuff, when they do certain things with Nganga, those who do that, try to look for a way that the Inkishi will perform that duty without offering that Nganga, an animal. Like, you don't have to offer it a sacrifice immediately. You understand? You should try to do a work or a job for a client or for yourself without having to tell the Inkishi, I'm going to give you this animal or this manga for you to do this. Try to see what you could do with the Inkishi without offering manga. Because if not, every time you're going to go do something, it's going to ask you for manga. Because that's all it knows. Because it only performs with that also. So you got to be very careful. Sometimes just going ahead and everything that you do, you sacrifice an animal to. I didn't want to stretch out, the recording this long, but I had somebody in front of me. They just moved, I'm here delivering, so I gotta get out the car. Just keep that in mind, guys. You do not need a animal to sacrifice in order for your Nkisi to do something to help somebody out or yourself, unless you have a certain tratado or certain treaty that you made with that Nkisi, that in order that it's going to operate is going to require menga. It's like saying you made a tratado with that Nkisi, right? And in order for it to operate, you always have to give it a mango. And then the day you don't find that mango, then that Nkisi doesn't work. That Nkisi can't perform because you couldn't find a mango in the supermarket. You know, let's put our thinking caps on. It's Friday, guys. Got paid, yep. Today, yep. Got paid. So I'm feeling good. Have a good day, guys. Be blessed. Stay safe. It's a rainy day in Philly. I don't know how it is where you guys are at. But salam alaikum, alaikum.